And welcome into the Pressbox Fantasy Football Show with Ken Zales. Seamless transition.
It was terrific.
What's up, brother?
Not much. How's everybody been?
Everybody is good. I thought you were dead for a little while.
I was dead for a little while. I had some people ask me if I was okay. I took a nice little summer hiatus from social media. So
okay.
It was very
Was
nice.
that like purposeful?
Yeah, it was. Had some things that were going on, not good things that were going on. Just following my son around to different camps and stuff like that, and it was fun.
Oh, cool.
So
good, very good.
You know,
well, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
And let's just let everybody know. This is all. First of all, thank you to Glory Days Grill for making this possible. Catch all the action at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill, where they have tons of TVs to catch every moment of every game. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports. So Ken is going to be joining us in studio, in the Live Casino Hotel studio, that is, every Thursday at 11:30. And I promise we will do a better job of lining that up and getting it succinct so that we will be making it happen at 11:30. Every week he's going to be here. We'll be doing basically the same thing we always do, which is answering your questions, talking about the biggest storylines in fantasy football for that week, setting lineups, things along those lines. Right now, obviously, for the next couple of weeks, it's more keeper questions, draft questions, things along those lines. But once the season begins, it'll be the type of stuff that you come to expect from Ken being here, which is getting you ready to play fantasy football that weekend.
Absolutely.
So let's just get into it, you and I. So I'm going to start with headlines for the week.
Okay.
We still have a couple of holdout situations.
We do.
And we're getting closer and closer to drafts. If you're drafting this weekend, you're insane. I still think if you're drafting next weekend, you're insane. But, I get that drafts start next weekend.
Especially if you're doing in-person drafts, it's tough to get everybody together. So I get it.
Yeah, you should be drafting Labor Day weekend. That's what weekend you should be drafting.
Exactly.
That's the way it's supposed to work. But as we get closer to drafts, as people are starting to have to make decisions, what do you tell them about Ezekiel Elliott, about Melvin Gordon, and also about the backs that follow those guys for those particular teams?
So remember when we talked about this last year, and it was about Le'Veon Bell,
who you were bullish about.
And I was like, I don't believe any of this. He's going to be there week one. No big deal.
Go ahead and draft him. Go ahead. He's your guy.
Go ahead, and wrong as wrong can be. Look, I don't know. I tell people. I mean, if you're drafting this weekend, it's all about how much risk you want to face. I'm not touching either Zeke or Gordon, but if I was, I'm definitely not taking Zeke in the top 4 anymore. I'm not taking Gordon in the top 12 anymore.
Okay.
But if Zeke's there with pick 12 or 11 or 12 at the end of the first round, and I got that second pick right behind it, where I'm like, well, if I take Zeke, I'll back him up with Dalvin Cook, let's say.
Sure.
I understand that a little bit, and I can do that. You just have to be ready to draft Tony Pollard 2 rounds earlier than you really should. So if Tony Pollard is going in the 8th round, according to
he's the rookie running back. Yep.
You have to take him in the 6th round because you took Zeke. So you just have to be really, really cognizant of what's going on in your draft room and not forget about, I'll just pick him up in the 8th round and go about your business. I got to get another running back, couple of wide receivers. And then even a little later, I'd probably grab someone like Morris or Darius Jackson.
Hedge all of your bets.
Hedge my bets.
Right.
I mean, this is your number 1 pick. It's tough to win.
Alfred Morris.
Sorry. It's tough to take. It's tough to win your league when you have a big fat 0 with that top pick. Gordon, I'm not touching Gordon. I don't think they want Gordon back. I don't think, if you look at the way their team is run and the fact that Eckler was really good when he was out and Justin Jackson was good enough when he was out, I don't think they pay him. So a trade's going to have to happen. And I don't know, you look around the NFL right now, it's like, who's trading for a running back? This is
okay, but in fairness, somebody can still get hurt in the next.
I understand. I understand that, but we're talking about if your draft is this week,
right?
I'm not touching him
at all.
At all. No, I don't want any part of it.
Jesus. I got to feel like there's a part of your draft where you get to and you're like, Melvin Gordon sitting there.
I mean, if Melvin Gordon's sitting there in the 5th round,
right?
I mean, but you have to take Melvin Gordon in the top 3 rounds right now to get him. I don't want to invest my draft capital with a guy that I really, if he plays football, I don't think it's with the LA Chargers this year. So therefore, how do I assess how good he's going to be? What if he gets traded to, I don't know, Jacksonville, and he's the backup in Jacksonville to start, and they're just doing that because we have a Super Bowl caliber team, but we know Fournette has injury history. We want to have a guy there that we can trust. I don't know who else needs a back right now that's going to trade for him and be desperate. Plus, he's not. We talk about this. The longer Zeke and Gordon are out, they're not in football shape. So you're talking about, if they sign the week before week 1, are they really playing week 1?
So that's the other element of this question, right? Like, let's say they get a deal done with Ezekiel Elliott next week. Then where are you looking to draft him?
Well, then he's in my top 4 again.
He's back. But that's the question you just asked, right? Like, is he definitely ready to go for week 1 at that point?
He is, because you still have 2 weeks left to go. I mean, if either of these guys come in after the 4th preseason game, they drop a little bit. But if they come in after the 2nd and they still have basically 3 weeks to get ready, it's fine. Maybe they don't get the full 25 carries that they normally get, but I can understand that. But if they're doing this because we don't want to participate in training camp, they're not on the field week 1.
I hear you. All right, he's Ken Zales. This is the Press Box Fantasy Football Show with Ken Zales, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. There's another situation, and I know your opinion of quarterbacks in the draft is wait. One guy that is a compelling name that could be an option if you wait, but we don't know what to make of it, is Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I just dropped him in my rankings this week because, the history with Andrew Luck is such that we'll believe it when he's on the field again.
That's part of the problem, right? They keep saying all the right things, obviously.
They're saying all the right things.
Hey, he'll be back. Like,
when? I mean, right now, I moved him down to number 7 from number 4 in my rankings because I'm scared a little bit of him not being ready. And the good thing is that they're telling us it's not his shoulder, which would be the real, light bulbs flashing and going off. And it's like if it's shoulder again, but they're saying it's his ankle. Some people say it's a high ankle sprain. Some people say it's just an ankle sprain.
Right.
Protecting him. I mean, some of this is probably protection of Andrew Luck because of the injury history. I won't have Andrew Luck on my fantasy teams. And that's just because, the way I draft, I will be the last or next to last guy in a league to draft a quarterback somewhere in the 9th, 10th, 11th round, and that'll be by all the mocks I've done and the best balls that I've done, and even a couple of real leagues that we did stupid early.
What is wrong with you?
That's Breeze, Jared Goff, Phillip Rivers, Kirk Cousins, Lamar Jackson.
Wait, where can you get Drew Brees?
I got him in the 11th round of a draft.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
I don't blame him either. I mean, look, I get that the Cook edition is the one thing that makes it so that it's interesting, I think, more so for his upside, but I think that
I get the argument that they're running the ball. That's fine, but like Jesus Christ, this is still.
I mean, he's now at the point where he can win you a fantasy championship.
No doubt.
But he's not the 5,000.
Well, I get that
600 pass attempt guy anymore.
He'll have like a 30-point outburst.
Right. He's fine. And where I draft and the way I do it, if I get him,
if I'm getting Drew Brees in the 11th round, I'm feeling very good about that.
In an industry draft, the first one I did this year, that's where I got him. I was like, okay, you're going to tell me that Drew Brees 11th is available in the 11th round. Okay, I'll take him.
Trust me, I'd rather have Deshaun Watson in the 11th round, but he's not available.
But he's not available in the 11th round.
But
I just quarterbacks. I mean,
how do you feel about pairing somebody like if you're taking Breeze or Rivers late? Are you going to pair that with a more risky backup like Lamar or Kyler Murray?
And by risk, you mean like
Right,
a high-end?
high risk, high reward,
upside's
yeah.
there. I'm not rushing to do it. Let's put it that way. I don't mind doing it. I mean, it opens me up to drafting those guys a little bit easier if I have the Philip Rivers, Drew Brees of the world, where I'm like, okay, he's 20
know who
points.
he is,
I know what he's doing. He's not throwing in a clunker for me. But I'd rather take Kirk Cousins, to pair with those guys. I'd rather pair him with, Ben Roethlisberger and another guy that I know what I'm getting. And maybe I don't get the home run every week, but they're not going to hurt me either every week. So I'm more likely to pair Lamar Jackson or a Kyler Murray if I get Mahomes, Watson, or Rodgers. Like if one of those three guys were available in the 4th round, and I say, you know what, the value for me is good enough now. I'll take one of these guys in the 4th round. I may then go and say, Lamar Jackson in the 12th round or Kyler Murray in the 10th. Hey, why not?
Sure.
Why not? I mean, if they blow up, it's a great
I have typically, since I have done what you gotten later with drafting quarterbacks, I've probably been more along the lines of what Kyle says, which is like I'll take one in the 11th round and then I might turn around and take another one in the 12th round.
Yeah, I will too. I'll take two within 3 rounds.
I'll grab Phillip Rivers. I'll also grab Matt Ryan.
Right. I'll take two. Once I take one, my next one's coming within the next 2 rounds.
I'm tantalized by Jackson and Murray.
I think the industry is. I mean, even Lamar Murray. See, I knew you were
that's what it is. Yes,
I know. Even Kyler Murray, who everybody just loves him anyway.
Where's he going off the board?
He's going in the top 12 of quarterbacks. I don't have him ranked there. I think there's enough buzz there that you've got to get him by the 8th round, or you're probably not going to get him right now. Gotcha. But at the same time, I rather take Lamar Jackson over him, and it's not where the ADPs are right now. Because look, I like his game, but we're getting overly excited about a guy that went 6 for 7 in a preseason game against a base offense and a shell defense.
It's less about that than it is about at least the shotgun heavy Kingsbury.
I get it. I get it all. Look, I think he has the ability. I have him above guys like Jameis Winston and Ben Roethlisberger in my rankings that are much safer in my mind because I don't know what Arizona is going to be. I mean, I have an idea. They're going to throw the ball all over the place. I hope their defense stinks again, so they're behind, and we're going to see garbage time from Murray, and he's going to run like crazy and stuff like that. But I don't want him as my number one on my fantasy team this year. It's too risky for me, and I'd rather have him. Like I said, I mean, if I get a guy, let's say one of my top 6 guys, Ryan, Wilson, Wentz, I'll grab him in the 9th round, something like that as my second guy, but I don't want him as my first.
All right, he is Gonzalez. I'm going to ask you this question. We have to take a short break, okay. But I'm going to ask you this question. I have, and I've talked about this off the air with you, I have the first selection of where to pick in the first round.
Yes.
I have to make my decision for some stupid reason tomorrow. Why I can't just wait until the draft, I don't know, but I have to make it tomorrow. So I have to think about the possibility of injuries. I have to think about, even if I say I'm comfortable with one of these guys. And I asked you this question because, ideally, while everybody loves having the number 1 pick, you also don't really want to wait till number 24 to pick again. So if I can bump that back a few picks, I would like to do that. So generically, you tomorrow have to make the choice of where you're picking in the first round of a draft. Think about that, and in 20 seconds after we tell you a little bit more about Glory Days, I'm going to have you answer that question.
Okay.
All right? Very short break.
Very short break.
Just telling you about Glory Days, girl, then we'll be back in. Can I ask that? And I got a bunch of questions from you guys to get to as well. Get them in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. Catch all of the action at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill, where we have tons of TVs to catch every moment of every game. Enjoy $5.99 burgers on Mondays, $5.99 nachos on Thursdays, and drink specials throughout the season to help you cheer on your favorite teams. Come in today and try something new from our seasonal menu. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports. All right, Kenzalis.
Yes.
You have the first choice of where to pick in the first round of a draft.
Yes.
PPR.
PPR.
This is a draft lottery, if you will.
Draft lottery.
Where are you taking what pick do you want?
I'm going to take the third pick.
Okay.
I want one of the top 3 running backs.
Okay.
Whether I don't care who goes in front of you, whether it's Barkley, McCaffrey, or Kamara, I want one of those 3. And the reason I'll pick third because I really don't care which one of those 3 I get. I'm getting one of the 3 clear first top running backs, especially in a PPR setting in football, and I don't have to wait 2 extra picks to make my next pick.
Now, you run the risk of one of those guys getting hurt between now and the start of the season.
Well, that's with anybody.
But I'm saying, like, should you, if you like 3 guys,
right?
Should you take pick number 2 to make sure to hedge your bets that you don't have one of those guys get hurt and suddenly that third pick is a player that you don't like as much?
No, I'm not going to do that. I mean, there's as much chance of one of them getting hurt as 2 of them getting hurt. So, I mean, we can't play fantasy football with fear of who's going to get hurt and pick based on we think they're going to get hurt. So we're not
unless you're talking about guys that
guys that have history.
Yeah.
These 3 guys really don't have.
Well,
histories.
I mean, right now, I think for a lot of people, they would lump Ezekiel Elliott into the category of top running backs, and because there's such a question mark.
Well,
I
can't take that. Like, you asked me this question via text 2 weeks ago, and I told you 4th because 2 weeks ago I didn't think we were having this ridiculous conversation. And Zeke was in Cabo while everything's going on.
Correct.
So I moved it back 1 and say it's safe. You don't have to wait as long. I'm fine there. My second favorite place to pick would be around 10th.
Mm-hmm.
What are you trying? This is an interesting question to me too, Ken. If you do end up picking back end of the first round. Mm-hmm. Is your thought then to try to steal value at another position? And I bring that up only because I'm stunned how little risk people give first round tight ends, right? Where I love the idea of getting a tight end early and having reliable, I can count on a boatload of points from this guy at a position where maybe some guys are struggling to find points at all, right? Like in this league. Whereas I believe in a given week, there's probably 20 running backs that are all going to score, and I might be able to find one that's going to score me 16 points, even if I'm not using an early round pick on that guy. Like, I get it. Certainly at the top of the draft, you're taking the best running backs. Like, I understand that. But once you get to later in the first round, I'm fascinated by the idea of trying to find an inherent advantage at a position that others might not have.
So here's why I like picking 10th, and I really don't mind picking 11th and 12th. My pick's made for me by the other 9 people that are ahead of me. I mean, if it's going to be a running back heavy draft and 8 running backs go in the first 9 picks, well, my 10th pick's going to be the best running back on the board, and I'm probably going to come back on the way back with the next best running back because running backs aren't going to be available to you in the 3rd and 4th rounds when you're ready to do it. Now, if there's a bunch of wide receivers that go before you, and maybe Kelsey goes before you, then that second round pick, I still go running back with my first pick, but that second pick then becomes a little bit easier for me to pass on another running back. It makes it easier for me to take what may be one of the top 6 receivers available in the draft. So that's why I like the 10th pick because I know I'm not going to get one of these top Studley guys. I mean, none of the first 3 guys are falling to me. Maybe Chubb's there, maybe Connor's there, someone like that. If Kelsey falls there, I'm thrilled because then somebody else can take him, and that's somebody else that is another running back or wide receiver. Because I'm not taking a tight end before the 3rd round, so let's get that out of the way right now. I'm not.
Worked out all right for me a year ago. Travis Kelce was a
look. I'm in a keeper league, and I have the ability to keep Julio Jones or Kelce. I'm keeping Kelce.
Yeah.
I could pair Julio with Hopkins and have the greatest wide receiving core of anybody in the league, but you can't in certain situations you can't pass up Kelsey. I just don't. I get it. I understand the value of it. I just early there are so few running backs that we trust right now that I just think you got to get them early. And if you don't, I mean, yeah, you could get lucky, and there's a lot of luck in fantasy football. But the people that won championships last year, a lot of them wound up with guys that, you just were lucky with at the end.
I understand that. And I guess my point at the tight end is I think we thought the tight end was deeper a year ago than it proved to be. I think that a year ago we looked at the tight end position and said, well, I feel really good about Trey Burton in Chicago.
Right.
Well, how'd that work out, right?
Yeah, we thought it was really deep. I actually think it's deeper than many other people think it is this year.
I'm struggling with that. Like, I look at tight end and say, I feel like there's 5 that I feel good about.
Well, but I mean, okay, to me there's 4 I feel good about, and the 4th one for me is Henry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hunter Henry. And
everybody else is lumped in, and I mean everybody else. I mean, you could go from O.J. Howard all the way to you can go through all of them, through Delaney Walker, and they all have the same ability to be the 4th or 5th best tight end in the league, and what that looks like is 60 catches and 6 touchdowns, most likely.
Sure, but I feel like the advantage of having one of the
again, you're right. There's a huge advantage if you take Kelsey in the first round,
right,
and I take Mark Andrews in round 8. Okay, what's the value difference in let's say we give 1,000 yards to Kelsey and 10 touchdowns, and we give 600 yards and 8 touchdowns to Andrews.
Right, you're saying that's only a difference of 50-some points.
50-some points over the course of a year, whereas my difference
obviously
between
we're not throwing in PPR, we're not throwing in number of catches,
my difference between Chubb scoring maybe 12 touchdowns and my second running back maybe being Gurley if I went Chubb Gurley early versus being with Andrews versus being Kelsey with Gurley and Kenyon Drake.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have the running backs.
Okay. Let me get to some listener questions for Ken. Paul in Ovilando. I love that. Who do you believe will be the Packers' number 2 wide receiver, MVS or Geronimo Allison?
The great thing about the Packers is it doesn't matter because all three are going to be productive when they're good. I mean, we can go back in history and look at that. Nelson, Cobb, and Adams were all good. Okay, you look last year, sort of like the LA Rams model. Cooks, Kupp, and Woods were all good. So I don't think it matters who 2 or 3 is. I think Allison has. I like Allison because he's going to be the slot guy. Okay, because when you're looking outside Adams first, and then MVS second. If Allison's the slot guy, he's the slot guy.
Right.
So I think if you're telling me who am I picking, first between the two, I'm taking Allison, but we're like a round difference between them for me. So I don't think at the end of the day we're talking about a huge difference in anything.
And ironic, the tight end question, which tight ends do you believe could end up being this season's George Kittle?
I think people are sleeping on Henry a lot. That was going to be the 3rd best tight end until the injury, and they used it. Look, Andrews is a guy. Delaney Walker's a guy. I don't think there's another.
You feel about
Kittle.
Anything about Font or Hawkinson?
They're rookies. I mean, I like them both. They're both in situations with quarterbacks that like to throw to the tight end, but at the end of the day, we're historically like one tight end's been in the top 10 tight ends, one rookie tight end, top 10 tight end in like 12 years. Something like some ridiculous stat. So not as the number 1, not as a top 12 tight end, no.
From Dave. Dave says, how do you feel about Marquise Brown? He's a guy that I always thought I was going to grab later on in draft. The injury concerns me, but more I don't know what to make of the Ravens' offense.
So there's the rub. Look, somebody asked me the other day on Twitter, he's not really a Ravens fan. He's like, all the buzz is about Boykin. He's going to be great. And he goes, how do you feel about him, or should I be taking Marquise Brown first? I said, well, you should be looking at wide receivers that are going to get more balls thrown their way than the Ravens are probably going to throw, number one. So if you want to take Marquise Brown as a flyer as your wide receiver 5, okay. Those guys, that's the part of the draft where we turn over our roster a lot. You want to take a flyer on him, that's fine, but we haven't even seen him in a game. He's coming off the injury. We don't think that the Ravens are going to throw the ball more than 20 times a game. And right now, I say, if you ask me who the top receivers on any given day, it's probably more balls are going to be caught by the backs and the tight ends than the wide receivers on this team.
Yeah. Until
I see different, it's no more than a wide receiver 5 for me.
Okay. From Tony. Tony says, ask your boy why it is that Ken is my boy. Ask your boy why it is that Le'Veon Bell was the number 1 pick a year ago, but is suddenly not even in his top tier of running backs.
Well, I don't know where your top tier is. I mean, he's not in the top 3 or top 4. Number 1, he's not there because...
So you wouldn't take him ahead of Ezekiel Elliott if you were drafting today?
Oh, yeah.
Well, today,
yeah. But, I mean, right now with national, and all I could go by is national ADP. Zeke is still number 4, okay? David Johnson is creeping up on him. And the later we go, he'll surpass him. But... I mean, if you're comfortable with him, that's fine. The reason he was the number 1 guy last year is because he was proven of his usage with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know how he's going to be used with the New York Jets. I don't know what their offense is going to look like. I don't really love the New York Jets skill positions like I love the Steelers skill position players. So is he going to be as good as he was with the Steelers? If you had to, me to answer it, I was like, no. Is he still going to be a solid running back? Sure. He's in the top 7.
Right.
I mean, if you think that you have to take a running back in the first round and you're at pick 6 and you want to grab him and he's there, by all means, go grab him. I think he's going to be a really good player, but there's no way anybody outside of a total guess is saying, well, he's going to put up very similar numbers to what he did with the Pittsburgh Steelers. No, you can't say that. I mean, he doesn't have an Antonio Brown. He doesn't have a Juju Smith. He doesn't have a Juju there. He doesn't have a Ben Roethlisberger throwing him the ball. I want to see it, and that's why he's a little bit down in that Bell, Chubb, Connor range.
Last one is for me.
For you.
Talk me out of why it is that I desperately want to have Demaryius Thomas in every single one of my leagues because I'm convinced the Patriots are going to fix him and make him Demaryius Thomas again.
A, he's going to start the year on PUP, and B, I don't know that he'll ever be healthy again.
Okay,
well, that part, yes, could be an issue. That part could be a bit of a problem.
I'm
so convinced the Patriots
Philip
can fix
Dorsett
him.
is interesting.
Dorsett's a little interesting. The Patriots are a frustrating team to draft. I mean, they just are. I mean, you have Edelman,
James White,
and there's nobody else you trust week in and week out on that team. Who knows? Close your ears. Who knows? Who knows if Josh Gordon's going to be available to them?
Stop.
Look, we say that every year. Stop, and all of a sudden he's reinstated, and he's going to be thrown in there. They drafted Harry for a reason. They never draft first-round wide receivers. They drafted him for a reason. Philip Dorsett is interesting. Until Demaryius Thomas, I mean, if you want to take him as your last pick of a draft.
Oh, I'm going to be taking him.
Okay, that's fine, but understand that there's a better than 50% chance that he misses the first 6 weeks of the season. And can you carry him for that long on your roster?
Oh, I can.
I mean, I know he can.
I can.
Because he's insane when it comes to carrying people on the roster.
Josh Gordon to a championship.
Yeah, did you?
I did.
I'm gonna do it. Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
He was a big part of that winning team.
I'm gonna do it. With
okay,
I'm just so convinced.
I've taken him, I think, twice in 40+ best ball drafts. because I don't, there's 24 rounds of that. When there's only 15 or 16 rounds of a regular draft, there are bye weeks in week 4. You're going to keep them through 3 bye weeks?
Yes.
No.
I'm that convinced. I also am not as,
look, I love the place he went, but I would have loved the place he went if he had been cleared.
Yes, if he was on the practice field.
If he was on the practice field, or if there was any positive news coming out of New England.
I'm so damn convinced.
It was an interesting place to go, and they're the team that'll, they won't care if they'll put him on IR for a year and then he's back next year.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I can't.
All right.
I can't.
All right, at Fans Fantasy on Twitter, of course, is how you follow Ken.
Yes.
You have in the new print edition of Press Box, which is available right now on newsstands. Pick up your copy at your neighborhood Royal Farms. You have some sleeper ideas for everyone in there.
Are they still all sleepers?
Let me double check. I thought it was all. Well, I don't want to go through and just give away all the list.
But just eyeball it for me. It was a pretty good list when I wrote the article.
Yeah, I think they're mostly still sleepers.
Okay, good enough.
I don't. As much as some of these guys can be sleepers,
right?
You know what I mean?
Well,
like you have.
I said after the 8th round.
Okay, then yeah, they're all after.
That's
fine.
Yes. Sleepers don't have to be people that you've never heard of.
Right. Yeah, I don't think any of these guys have moved up above the.
Okay.
I don't think so. All right, so you can check that out. Pick up your new print edition of Press Box today in order to do that. There will not be, just for those that continue to ask, it's not going to be on Sunday mornings.
It's not.
But he will be here.
Every Thursday.
I
promise.
Doing this show brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Appreciate them making that happen. Catch all of the action at your neighborhood. I appreciate Kyle throwing that right as I'm doing the read. That was very helpful in the middle of the read for me to lose that. Catch all of the action at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill, where they have tons of TVs to catch every moment of every game. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports. Anything else, sir?
It's a quick half hour.
Yeah, it goes. That's the way it's going to go.
It's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Sorry to interrupt your Thursday show. No.
I
didn't realize that's the way it was going down.
Just interrupting the order. That's it.
The order. It's just the order a little bit.
Because we used to have you on every Thursday. Just doing it at a different time. That's all.
It's fine.
That's it. All right.
It's fine.
KZ, appreciate it. We will talk to you next Thursday.
Sounds good.
And we will talk to the rest of you guys tomorrow for Glenn Clark Radio.